Ben.
Hello.
Thank you for allowing Bragbox to interview you. You're currently working on the riots.
Yes, yeah, the riots currently at the Bernie Grant Arts Centre. We have transferred there for a week and a half. There's actually only a week left from the Tricycle Theatre in Kilburn. So this is one of Nick Kent's, the outgoing artistic director's, last pieces, a verbatim piece of theatre about the 2011 summer riots that we all know about, that kicked off here in Tottenham in London and then spread nationwide. Yeah.
So how did it come about that you were the assistant director on the production? How did that come about?
I've worked at the Tricycle a couple of times before. Originally in 2004 as an actor in Playboy of the West Indies, an adaptation of an Irish play by Mustafa Matura that Nick Kent directed. I think was very lucky to be asked along to not so much to assist, but to sort of have a little look at what directing is all about. When Paulette Randall was directing one of the not black and white season, Roy Williams' peep into the prison system, Cat B. And off the back of that I did some research for Nick Kent on a Frank McGuinness play, Greta Garbo came to Donegal. So hearing last summer that Nick was, I mean, I heard it kind of through the grapevine a couple of times, people talking about he's leaving. I was like, oh, no way. And then, yeah, read it in an article, so felt it was very important to sort of just send him a little something, a little message. So I emailed him, I think, in late July.
So you got in there first. You got in there first, Ben. Let's not be around them. To us what an assistant director's role is on a production.
It's about supporting. It's about enabling not only the actors but the director to achieve what it is that they've set out to achieve, and being very quick and flexible so that as and when things change you can be where you're needed and when you're needed. In this production I've been working on currently, because it's verbatim, the factual element of everything is so important, so your research and your knowledge of the people who are involved and the issue or issues that are being dealt with need to be very on point.
Was it important to you to be a part of this play?
Play, in Nick's words, is an inquiry, if you will, in the absence of an official government inquiry into why what happened over the summer. I think a lot of the knee-jerk reaction was to talk about criminality, was to talk about people who were causing trouble but weren't doing it for a cause. But I think there's a lot more under the surface, and this play, I think for a lot of people, has revealed that there are some causes that are maybe only recent, the spark, if you will, the shooting of Mark Duggan, and lack of transparency by the police straight afterwards. But there are some causes also that go back 20, 30, 40 years even, that it's very easy to skip over unless we as theatre producers, we as individuals, we as communities sit down and really have open and frank and painfully truthful conversations about why what happened and how we avoid it happening again.
And do you think the play is successful in doing that?
Yes, it's only a start, so it's only going to be so successful. But I think what the play does is it presents a very balanced exploration of what went on. Because it's verbatim, it's obviously people's words, and those words came from about 40 or 50 interviews, I believe. Wow. With politicians, with people involved in the criminal justice system, with police, with youth workers, with young people, with people who got themselves into trouble during the riots. So I think it's a nice spread. Nice, it's not really a word, but it's a good spread of people who have some very eye-opening things to
And
say.
what's the response been from audience members? Because you're now in Tottenham,
Yes, yeah.
which is quite uncanny, really, because obviously that's where the riots, so to speak, started at. What's been the response been from the audience?
So personally, what I've found is that much like the play, we were informed further by what people had to say, and again we heard the truth of a lot of what actually went on. Very serious problems in this city, in many of the other major cities around the country, and that those problems were further highlighted by the people that came and spoke afterwards. Yes.
And what's been the most memorable, I don't know if there is probably more than one, I don't know, but memorable moment for you working on this project?
I think, I don't think it's one moment, and it's not so much about time as it is, I think, to see some of the people who were interviewed in the flesh, some of the people who were presented on the stage in the play. I think in particular Stafford Scott, a Tottenham community activist. It was an honour to meet him, and many of the other people.
This feels like more than a production. You wouldn't usually do a play and be so affected by the play, and I think maybe because it has an essence of truth. I mean, every word that's in the play is actually said by somebody who has been affected by the riots,
yes,
so to speak. So how has it changed you as an artist, as a director, as a person?
I think ultimately it's made me realise I have to raise my game. Whether we like it or not, as people in this industry, be we directors, producers, writers, actors, even people who work behind the scenes, technical staff, people who work in costume, etc. We are each of us, individually and collectively, for other young people, other people full stop, wanting either to get into this industry or wanting to do more with their lives. We are role models. So I think it's making me go back to my life and ask some more fundamental questions about why I'm involved in this industry, about how we can use what we do to raise consciousness, to raise our standard of living, to raise our levels of happiness. For me personally, it's been a life-changing experience.
Why the change from acting to, I don't know if there is a change, but why the crossover then, should I say? Why the crossover from acting to directing?
I felt a need to play a larger part in everything, which, yes, has definitely come out of the acting, but I think for me as well has come as much out of the teaching work I do. I've been very fortunate to come through a place called Weekend Arts Performing and Media College in Camden, Belsize Park. So I came through there just before I went to drama school myself, did audition technique with Marianne Jean-Baptiste and Che Walker. And on returning to London after drama school, began to sort of go in and do little bits of work with students, firstly in the class that I came through myself, but now on the 3-year diploma in musical theatre they do. So what that began to become was, if you will, a training ground for me as somebody now who wants to do directing, as I was able to sort of read plays with a different, coming from a different angle, thinking about plays from the outside as opposed to me playing a solitary role in the middle of them. So the crossover, the switch, if you will, into directing is becoming, feels quite natural. I guess. Hopefully I'll still get a chance to do some acting at some point. I enjoy it very much. But in this increasingly difficult industry, I think it's very important that as artists we have more than one string on our guitar.
Yeah, definitely. How has training helped you along the way?
But I think one of the most important things is being around a number of other people who are trying to do the same thing as you, who are trying to free their talent, if you will, who are trying to learn the disciplines necessary for being an artist. It's about being near the teachers you're close to in your everyday while you're studying, and tapping into that knowledge and that experience, that wisdom. Because I think if you are fortunate enough, if you're blessed enough to land a place at any school, let alone a reputable school, you obviously have talent of some sort. So I don't think it's necessarily about focusing too much on that. That's already present. I think it's about learning how to liberate that talent. But I think one of the most important things to say is we need writers. Performers are very important, but if we really are intent on getting our stories out there and telling our stories from our point of view, we need young people to write.
Because as an actor, you have worked on, be it intentional or not, but a lot of new writing.
Yes.
A lot of new writing. So I just wonder, as a director, will you go down the same path? Will you be focusing on new writing?
I hope to. Yes. There are a handful of plays that I've either seen or read or heard about or used to do work with students I work with. That for me, a wonderful place that we should bring forward with us from the 20th century into the 21st. But I think the planet is changing. People are changing. I mean, we're in a different century for one, but we're also we're entering a very new age. Not only, as people know about, on a technological front, but I think a new age in terms of how we live. How we communicate with each other, how we relate to the world around us, and I therefore think that we need new plays that reflect that change or those changes. Yeah.
Okay, so if you're watching this and you're interested in writing a play, then we've got a director that will probably be interested in reading your plays. So please bring them forward to Bragbox. And in your opinion, if I had to say to you, what three things makes a good director or a good assistant director, what three things would they be?
I think you must be compassionate. I think you must have courage. And I think you must be honest. Yeah.
What's been the biggest challenge you've ever had to face being in this industry?
Biggest challenge, I think, is self-belief. Self-belief. I think the biggest and continuing challenge, is faith in oneself, that you are a valid part of it all.
Okay, I think that wraps things up really nicely. Thank you so much, Ben.
Pleasure.
And best of luck with the Riots.
Thank you.
I'm looking to get down there at some point
You
this
must
week.
Come, yes, come.
So I'll be urging everyone to do exactly the same. But thanks for taking time out for us. All the best.